we talked a lot about injury. So when we have conversations, we do our initial performance check session with an athlete and we're getting to know them for the first time. Injury usually comes up. It's like, well, I've never been injured before, or like that's kind of the focus. And that's what mental blocks are tied to so often. But most of our athletes, and you know this to be true, like most of our athletes have never had a serious injury. Like 95% of the athletes we work with, that in most of the athletes we work with do have mental blocks. Some don't. Some just deal with anxiety or pre-competition jitters or just general nerves, right? Or confidence challenges. But most of our mental block athletes, they've never had a serious injury. So what outside of, and I'm sure you're going to talk about injury too, but what outside of injury can cause, like what causes mental blocks just in
Yeah.
general?
So I personally feel like it's obviously changes per person and it is a formula. It's a combination of things. So I don't like to think that mental blocks just appear. It's more like there's a lot of background stuff that's going on that develop into it. Meaning it could be, as you said, fear of injury. It could be like stress or pressure, like, hey, we really need you to tumble if we're going to max out. Or fear of failure, where you're like, okay, well, if I just don't try it, I'm not going to fail at least. Um, Perfectionism feeds it too. So when we want to be perfect all the time, same type of thing. Let's just not even try it so we can still be perfect and other people can see us as perfect. It could also be like the way you talk to yourself. That's a big part of it, is if you're always talking to yourself negatively, it's not going to help you. So I do like to tell my athletes, like when they tell me what they say to themselves, I would say, okay, if you were coaching someone a few years younger than you and they messed up, is that what you would say to them? And they'd be like, oh, no, no, no. And I'd be like, so then why are you saying it to yourself? And it's kind of like that aha moment where they realize, why am I talking to myself like this? Because it's feeding the block, it's feeding the fear as opposed to helping you overcome it and showing yourself that you're safe. And then past experience too. So say that you had a time where you felt like, oh, you almost split the beam, but you didn't. That could feed into it. Or you've seen someone else do it. Or you've gone on TikTok and see all the fail videos. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I never thought about that. That could happen. So fear of injury is definitely a really big one. And then just overthinking things too, where you think a million thoughts for one thing that you're doing. And could also be like stress at home, stress at school, stress with friends. It could be the environment that you're in. There's so many different factors where there's not like this is why they exist, but they exist because it's your body and brain's way of protecting you under stress. And so that's normal. That's okay. We want it to do that. And now it's a matter of, okay, what can we do to tell my brain and body that I am safe and that I can control this without all those fears built up?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the conversation we have to start when we start working with an athlete is like what frustrates you or what causes pressure? Like when do you feel nervous at practice? Like trying to identify those different sources because a lot of times it's not just the injury piece. Like there's so much more that goes into it. Even just like not wanting to disappoint others or comparing yourself to others. I should be so much further along than I am because my teammates are getting new skills and all the things. So there's a lot that goes into it. So again, hopefully that's helpful if an athlete is dealing with a mental block and they hear all of these different sources. Like, well, of course this is happening because I think the initial response is, why is this happening to me? I'm a beautiful tumbler. I work really hard, like all the things but and it can kind of feel like it's what's wrong with me as
Mhm.
opposed to just even me hearing your list and all of the places and sources of pressure and anxiety. It's like it makes me nervous just sitting listening to it. So I think that's really helpful. That's awesome.